Welcome to Camnet TV Main News. I am Precious Mzeya. Sakaleji, the headlines. Police in Eastern Province block the United Party for National Development from campaigning. Stakeholders bemoan Electoral Commissions of Zambia's Election Observers Accreditation process. Movement for Multi-Party Democracy threatens to protest if the Electoral Commission of Zambia fails to level the political playing field. In international news, Tanzanian president gets COVID-19 jab, kicks off vaccination drive. And in sports fans are skeptical about Zambia's new head coach BESTONE CHAMBESHI. Join me with the main news in detail after this commercial.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we're here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
And now the main news in detail. The second and third consignment of the ballot papers of Zambia's 12th August 2021 general elections have arrived Thursday at Lusaka's International Airport. The ballot were carried on two flights, namely Emirates Flight 9542 with the second consignment and Emirates Flight 9559 with the third consignment. The ballot papers are for 69 constituencies, with the first batch for 40 constituencies having arrived on Wednesday, 28th July 2021.
Ballots for Zambia's 2021 general elections have continued coming in ahead of the country's polls on 12th August. Thursday, 29th July 2021 at Lusaka's Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, the second and third consignments of the ballots arrived in the country. The ballots came aboard two flights, with Emirates Flight 9542 carrying the second consignment and Emirates Flight 9559 carrying the third consignment. The ballots that have arrived are for 69 constituencies and are for presidential, parliamentary, and local government seats. Stakeholders such as the media, civil society, and political parties witnessed their arrival. Notable political party representatives among those who came to witness are those from the Patriotic Front (PF) and the United Party for National Development (UPND). Both political parties have expressed confidence on the security surrounding the handling of the ballot papers for the second and third consignments. The last batch of ballots is expected to arrive in Lusaka Friday, 30th July 2021, with verification set to take place on Saturday, 31st July 2021. Zipora Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Members of various organizations have expressed disappointment at the slow pace at which the Electoral Commission of Zambia is accrediting electoral observers for the August 12th general election. Speaking to Camnet TV in Lusaka, Oliver Hangola says the accreditation process is slow and almost impossible for the Commission to capture all representatives of various organizations who have expressed interest in observing the August elections. And GEA's Initiative Executive Director McDonald Jipenzi says he is concerned at the numerous glitches in the accreditation process and has appealed to the Electoral Commission of Zambia to seriously consider an extension in the accreditation process.
Confusion almost rocked Nakachindi Hall in Lusaka, where the Electoral Commission of Zambia is accrediting members of various organizations who intend to be electoral observers in the August general election. 13 days before the general elections, thousands of representatives from various organizations have in the past few days been flocking to the Lusaka City Council Nakachindi Hall with the intention of being accredited before the process comes to an end on 31st July 2021. And some members of various organizations are not happy with the slow accreditation process and the timeline that has been given, considering that the accreditation process began very late.
The rate at which it's being done, if you go inside there, because we started yesterday coming, and this is our second day, and this is already 12:06, and as you are able to hear behind me, people are already frustrated with the situation. There are only about 2-3 cameras that are capturing in there, and the process is taking an awful long time, such that people need to spend longer hours. The main challenge which is there is the pace at which this program is being done. It's just too slow.
What is happening inside? So we will also call for an extension so that each one of us can have a chance to just monitor. We are there to ensure that people are able to vote. We've got people with disabilities. Sometimes we hear to say, because I'm disabled, they do not allow me to vote and all that. We are there to talk on their behalf and make sure that each citizen is able to vote.
Coronavirus emekutuwa isende pali abantu n'abafula social distance tapali koza abantu bali fe so olo n'abakopa maiti bafule ko lotsikira babika bamuba mukozi bali na slow abantu n'abafula bataba kukopa n'abachi nga ilipo at least nga bale chitako fast n'abantu tetu babefi nga bale chitako fast tete ko ati n'abale kupa futi n'abachi.
And GEA's Initiative Executive Director McDonald Jipenzi has appealed to ECZ to extend the accreditation process for the whole of next week and increase the number of their staff so as to make it possible for many to register.
We appeal to the Electoral Commission of Zambia to seriously consider extending the accreditation process or exercise. The ECZ is aware that it is overwhelmed by the application by some organization to monitor this election. A number of officers in various districts were not in the office as the start coincided with a number of scheduled trainings by the Electoral Commission of their staff.
One would however wonder if all those flocking to register as electoral observers really understand the purpose of being an observer, or it is business as usual. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, MMD, has echoed its intention to protest if the electoral playing field is not balanced and do not assure a legitimate outcome for the August 12th general elections. MMD Party President Dr. Nevas Mumba has stated that the current series of events do not portray a democratic state, and if the situation gets too worse, then the party will be left with no choice but hold demonstration with the people to denounce. Meanwhile, Dr. Nevas Mumba has warned the Zambia police to desist partial application of the law to all political parties regardless. He said this during an exclusive interview with Camnet TV today, July 29, 2021.
Many stakeholders have described as unfair the political playing field, stating that the Patriotic Front-led government has been abusing the defensive wings of government to champion their own agenda at the expense of other political players. Speaking in an exclusive interview with Camnet News, New Hope Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, MMD leader Dr. Nevas Mumba says the president is a Zambian citizen that is equally governed by the law and therefore should be treated as such.
Health regulations are set forth by the Ministry of Health. We sent them videos, we sent them pictures of PF having mammoth rallies against the regulations that had already been set. ECZ has been mute about those. There is nothing the police or the ECZ have to worry about when it comes to the opposition. The only thing that breaches these regulations is their inability, their cowardly approach in dealing with the Patriotic Front.
Dr. Mumba added that if the status quo continues, the party will use other democratic methods to get their point across as all other avenues, such as writing letters to the Electoral Commission, have failed.
And we are watching that. When I say we'll go to the streets, what happens is that once you feel that, the institutions of government that are meant to protect you are not protecting you, and they are going to give Zambians a president or a member of parliament or a councillor whom Zambians don't want, but has, crooked his way to the front, then it becomes necessary for people who love the country to protest against that issue. So when I say going to the streets, I'm not going there to cause violence. I'm going there to let the Zambians get on the streets and make a demand democratically of what must be done in order to correct the system before we can have another election.
Dr. Nevas Mumba further assured its members of the victory that is coming regardless of the difficulties they are facing prior to the elections. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
In other news, Patriotic Front Solwezi Central aspiring candidate Milner Joseph Katolo says all Solwezi residents will be compensated if it is established that they have been consuming contaminated water. Speaking when he addressed the media in the district, Mr. Katolo says he will ensure that he gets water samples throughout Solwezi streams and from the pipes and take it to different laboratories for testing. Mr. Katolo has indicated that the district is sitting on a time bomb due to sewage disposal. He says there are only 2 places in the district where there are safe sewage disposal system, while the rest of the district is septic tanks, which is percolating the underground water, thereby polluting it.
There are only 2 places here in Solwezi where you can find sewage disposal system, in the Kabitaka housing and a small one behind the hospital there. Everywhere else you go, it's septic tank, septic tank, septic tank. Do you know where that waste is going? It's percolating in the underground water, polluting the underground water, which eventually finds itself in the streams. And that is the same water that is being pumped into the taps for use in the homes. We are sitting on a time bomb. We want investigative journalism to expose these things. I have told myself, first day I'm elected member of parliament, I will carry out samples through the Solwezi stream and the water coming from the pipes. I will take it to different laboratories for an assessment. The moment we find that that water has contamination from the effluents from the mines, they will dance.
Republican President Edgar Lungu has applauded what he referred to as a formidable team that led first Republican President Dr. Kenneth Kaunda constituted in his leadership hierarchy. President Lungu said this is need to credit the past leaders who played a crucial role in the country's development. Speaking shortly after visiting the late politician mines at Shona's gravesite in Southern Province, the head of state described the late diplomat as a true hero who played a pivotal role in the country's development. The president also undertook a face mask distribution exercise and took time to sensitize traders at Makalanguzu market on the need to follow COVID-19 health guidelines in Choma, Southern Province. Police dressed in full riot gear this afternoon, 29th July 2021, allegedly blocked United Party for National Development UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema from proceeding with his campaign team in Malambo constituency of Eastern Province. Reports on the ground are that police dispersed with tear gas canisters, causing the UPND sympathizers who accompanied the UPND president to scamper in different directions.
Emotions are high and expectations equally off the roof as political parties are racing with time in order to ensure that their case is heard by the electorate. However, with the many restrictions owing to the COVID-19 pandemic coupled with the suspending of campaigns in some parts of the country due to political violence, this election becomes one like no other. On the 26th of July 2021, the Zambia Police Service issued a warning to political parties to stop abrogating violating the COVID-19 guidelines by gathering crowds and urged them to stick to door-to-door campaigns, among many other ways of campaigning. An instruction which was received with mixed feelings by key stakeholders. A few days later, United Party for National Development UPND President Hakainde Hichilema, together with his entourage on the 29th of July 2021, met with the police dressed in full riot gear as they entered Malambo constituency in Eastern Province, preventing them from going any further. The situation escalated as police threw tear gas gangsters to disperse the crowds, causing the supporters to scamper. UPND Media Alliance partner Kelvin Waliafube has described as undemocratic and barbaric the act by the Zambia Police Service.
Our presidential candidate was attacked by police on a peaceful campaign trail in Malambo constituency in the Eastern Province. However, the president has assured me that he is well and he wants all party members to remain calm and non-violent in whatever campaigns they are conducting. I repeat, the president is well and safe. We should have no retribution. We understand that the police are working under pressure. We understand that this brutal regime will stop at nothing but to ignite some kind of violence and chaos so that they find excuses for stopping the elections on the 12th of August. That will not happen.
A few minutes later, the UPND president was seen in Lundazi, Eastern Province, going ahead with his campaigns like nothing happened. Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, the UPND leader was prevented from going into Chipata as the police restricted him at the Chipata City Airport. Mr. Hichilema spent close to 2 hours negotiating with the police. He explains that there is a number of activities he, as being among the 16 presidential candidates, had to undertake, including media appearances. But Eastern Province Police Commissioner Gaza Lungu has described Mr. Hichilema's visit to the province as illegal since his office was not informed of his presence in accordance with the Public Order Act.
So what we do, we go where we are going, escort us. Not 2 vehicles, 3 vehicles, a number of vehicles. If you are able to throw tear gas like that and bombs, certainly you can protect us from those PF thugs. It's the thugs you're afraid of.
No, let it us.
No. Wait. My friend.
No, we are going.
No. You kept me here 2 hours.
Yes.
Behave yourself, right? Behave yourself.
No, let us agree.
Right? Behave yourself.
Sorry.
Because we have a decent conversation. Listen. After we go where we are going, then we have a meeting of my leaders and the police command to decide how we move. Because I've come here for radio, I've come here within the law. There's a funeral. So I think the decent thing to do is that we are taken out there. From there, you assign a group, a small group of people to talk with my leaders to map out how we are going to work together as civilized people. I'm already a prisoner here, so let's go. You escort us where we are going, because I don't know where I'm going. The locals know where I'm going.
But have we agreed on the number of vehicles that you are going to?
Why?
That is where the problem is.
But I detest anyone trying to threaten a fellow citizen. You have no right to threaten me. So I am saying, we are very few. How many vehicles do we need?
No, we are very few. That's why.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we go where we are going.
We are agreeing.
But
so
where we are going,
yes.
Let me put it this way. Where we are going, we feel insecure from rogue policemen. So we need security ourselves, not your security. If you give us security, we appreciate.
Transparency International Zambia TIZ has revealed that the campaign period ahead of the August 2021 polls has been marred with incidences of electoral malpractice, such as vote buying in an attempt to sway votes. This is contained in a latest election incident report from the organization, which has also named the ruling Patriotic Front and the opposition United Party for National Development as being in the forefront of practicing this vice. Meanwhile, political analyst Professor Bizek Piri has called for more sensitization among voters, stating that this is compromising democracy as citizens are being denied the right to make independent choices.
With less than 2 weeks remaining, political parties have enhanced campaigns in preparation for general elections on 12th August 2021. Transparency International Zambia TIZ, however, in its latest election incidents report of the campaign period, has indicated various forms of electoral malpractice, such as violence and vote buying. The report, which has been shared with the media, has named 2 political parties, namely the ruling Patriotic Front PF and the opposition United Party for National Development UPND, placing them in the forefront of vote buying. Political analyst Bizek Piri states that this is detrimental to a democracy.
It's not about today, it's about the future. In other words, we need to be looking at leaders who are looking into the future, not for themselves today, but saying, okay, even when I'm gone, what is good will I leave behind? That way, if people are thinking along those lines, the voters are thinking along those lines, then the vote buying aspect is going to die.
In adding his voice to the matter, University of Zambia UNZA political scientist Mr. Innocent Masiku has called on the Zambia police to act on those carrying out this vice.
These are serious matters and will have a negative impact on the elections, because what will happen is that the results that will come out will not really reflect on the will of the people, because they would have been influenced in one way or the other. So we are actually calling out on the relevant authorities to investigate these matters. They are very, very serious matters, and those found guilty should be brought to court.
Meanwhile, the 2 political parties have denied the allegations.
To buy them how? What we know about buying of votes, which is vivid from that institution goes, is PF that are buying those voters' cards and the national registration cards. There's no single. Let that organization bring one single evidence.
TIZ is a discredited institution whose reports must be ignored. Those reports are baseless. There is no evidence of vote buying, and we challenge them to take those issues to the Zambia police.
In 13 days from now, Zambians will decide their leaders through the ballot. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Zitukule Consortium has observed that deploying the army in the forthcoming general election will be tantamount to installing fear in citizens ahead of the general election. Recently, Zambia Army Commander General William Sikazwe said that the military command stands ready to help the Zambia Police Service to maintain public peace, law and order ahead of the August 12th general election. Zitukule Consortium Executive Director Nicholas Spiri says the National Security Service, which include the Zambia Police Service, the Zambia Correctional Service and the Zambia Intelligence Service, have all the resources and ability to detect, prevent and curb serious crimes, including political violence in the country.
Recently, the Zambia Army Commander General William Sikazwe said that the military command stands ready to help the Zambia Police Service to maintain public peace, law and order ahead of the August 12 general elections. But this scenario would be likened to another African country, Uganda, which recently held elections amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The army was positioned to oversee security during the election, but the opposition in that country claimed that the military deployments were an attempt to intimidate voters and opposition supporters in order to suppress voter turnout and enable vote rigging. Zitukule Consortium Executive Director Nicholas Piri says it will be therefore not wise to deploy soldiers especially to man a civic activity such as a general election. He says, despite the Constitution providing for collaboration between and among defense forces and Homeland Security Services, the conditions and context prevailing in the country today do not justify the deployment of soldiers ahead of or during the election.
We are aware that we have installed numerous security cameras dotted around the cities across the country, and we also are aware of the command center that was set up specifically for public peace and security, together costing us close to $500 million. And we have no doubt that this has improved and enhanced the capacity of the Zambia Police Service to police elections.
He says the army will instill fear in electorates in general and in rural areas in particular to freely exercise their right to vote.
It will instill fear and intimidation among the civilian population, especially in the rural areas, to freely exercise their right to vote. Secondly, it will fuel the allegations of vote rigging, which become rife towards an election and are more closely associated with the men and women in uniform, including the Zambia Army and the Zambia Air Force.
In recent times, the military was deployed twice when the country was fighting the cholera pandemic in 2018 and during the gassing episode in 2020. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The Media Institute of Southern Africa, MISA Zambia, has called on all political parties to respect the journalists by allowing them to freely report. This is in response to a report of an attack on some journalists in Ekelengi District, Northwestern Province. MISA Zambia National Director Austin Kayanda has revealed that Mwila was beaten by UPND cadres while on duty and he sustained multiple injuries in the head and on the body. Meanwhile, MISA Zambia Program Manager Jen Chura has assured the safety of journalists going forward, saying there is much need to be done on the ground to ensure that safety of media before and during elections. Ms. Chira has since urged journalists to be accurate in providing information to the general public and avoid propagating hate speech.
Also, we haven't heard so much from them except appeals and capacity building for the journalists. But of course, we continue to operate in an environment where some of the laws are not very good, such as the seditious laws and the laws to do with the State Secrets Act. Those are the ones that impact the ability of the journalists to be able to do their work, and we're worried about those ones, and we've been calling for such laws to be repealed. And also we've been asking for the enactment of the access to information legislation, because it's very important law that's supposed to help also in terms of aiding journalists to be able to access information. So that is basically what you can say about the environment. But then when you talk about that we should even start killing each other, that the country must go into bloodshed, but that we should just remember, we're just choosing amongst ourselves, amongst those that have offered to provide leadership to this country, who is the best that we can choose. And so no one must die, no one must beat each other. So even us as media, as we are reporting, we can continue to remind everyone of that, and we can just educate them and inform them about who are some of these contestants that are there. That's why even the electoral.
Police in Northwestern Province have charged and detained two sub-chiefs who were fighting in public place over land and timber. Northwestern Province Police Commissioner Joel Njase says the two sub-chiefs, Charles Shamanga, aged 54, of Chief Liamukumba of Nkoya people, and Mubiana Nkwanga, aged 46, of Chief Nkwanga, were arrested Thursday, 29 July 2021 at around 11 hours. The commissioner says it is immoral for leaders to be physically assaulting each other in the presence of their subordinates. And Mr. Njase says 120 cases of Fruticana drinks belonging to the Electoral Commission of Zambia, valued at 10,800 kwacha, have been stolen by a mob who were held chanting that it is government property. He says police intervened and so far 70 cases have been recovered, while suspects have been arrested and investigations are ongoing. We'll take our first set of commercials and we'll be back with more news after this.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body.
That's why we make sure that Oracle is number one when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
President Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the Patriotic Front have transformed the transportation sector by facilitating the construction of bus stations around the country. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties, your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. We continue with the rest of the main news. The Zambia Statistics Agency says the country has in the first half of 2021 recorded a trade surplus of 47.6 billion kwacha despite the COVID-19 challenges. ZAMSAT Interim Statistician General Mlenga Msepa says a trade surplus of 5.3 billion kwacha was recorded in June 2021 compared to the May 2021 surplus of 6.9 billion kwacha. A trade surplus is a situation in which a country sells more to other countries than it buys from other countries. And Mr. Mlenga says the annual inflation rate of July 2021 remained unchanged at 24.6% on account of a fall in prices of several key food items and other non-food items.
And that should be moderate the increase in the inflation rate. And much of it again is on account of increases in selected food items. So the food prices continue to be stubborn with respect to inflation. And the next chart, basically we've decoupled the overall inflation into food and non-food. And of course you see the way the food has been behaving right from November, in fact right from September 2020. It's been on an upward swing, But then when you come to February 2021, you see some moderation in terms of the increase, because it's just increasing by 0.5 percentage points to 27.8% from 27.3%. And we've shown the items that are responsible for this. Again, meat is one of them, and the various types of meat. We've got chicken, then fruits as shown, fresh milk, eggs, sugar, and cooking oil. Of course, I think fresh milk and meat, then eggs and chickens, these are related commodities, and therefore they are having pressures on food prices. We've also recorded some increase in non-food of 0.8 percentage points from 16.2% to 17%. And basically there's been some increases in imported garments for both men and ladies, rentals, charcoal, gas, propane, washing powder, and domestic services. Yes. This one just shows, we want to see the speed of inflation, comparing the same periods, basically comparing December 2019 to March 2020, and December 2020 to March 2021. You actually see that inflation is still accelerating. The year-to-date at 8.2% in 2021 compared to 2020, which was 5%. Again, you see the same stubbornness, that is food inflation, the year-to-date at 10.3% compared to 3.7% year-to-date in
Illegal trading of alcohol has continued in Lusaka's Old Leopards Hill Cemetery, where traders take advantage of the various mourners who flock the area as a result of the increased number of burials per day due to COVID-19. Despite the local authorities warning people involved in such activities, members of the public continue to ignore the laws.
A place of final rest for the body. This is Lusaka's Leopards Hill Cemetery. But for some, it is a business center with various thriving businesses, one of which is the trade of alcoholic beverages. Despite it being a known law that it is illegal to sell alcohol within the cemetery premises, the traders here have continued to go against this due to their various reasons, some which they have attributed to as being the hard economic times the country is facing, leaving them with no choice but to trade from here.
ndimo amene muli kupezeka ndrama ya fast kuti tingalipiremo nyumba, tingakulemo vana vakudya, ndimo amene ndrama fast yakuti at least tikatenga tuza twamene somatilesa tuzapezeka tikani sometimes sivagula ndrama sizibwera fast zinkala ulo ndapita tulo 2 weeks so zinkala cha vina ngonondeka so timastati chetimugulisa ivi chakuti ivi tikagulisa at least tiko siviona sivishita cha sivionongeka then vantu vamavona ko fast olo lero kagulisa ko viviri vitatu wendo gulako ndiyo kunyumba.
The traders here have therefore called on the relevant authorities to consider designating an area within the cemetery premises for the trade of alcohol so that they are not left with completely nothing to do.
Kuchati zitamanga tamanga kutipisha muno ngati vachitala kuti zilipira ku civic center tivomera kulipira kuchira kuti zitala ndava muno ni riski manalesa zona gulisiramu so pempo yanga ni yakuti vativomereze tizilipira tingale na license kuti tizidyeseramu vana mwamvera ka kutandaula kwanga ine navomera vati vishireko license kuchati zitavatava tizingala na free yogulisa ndakumanyumba kwamene tili sevena kuti kumanda manyu plot tikatandika vintu sivagula tambalala inazula ero tipe market mu Bauland olempia zilo mibe market mbawe so iseba mumanda tipempa pembo yokamba kuti batitandizireko tuma license tsazita batizikala na free mind otalipira kangono kameka ja twene wakitangala free mind.
Meanwhile, Lusaka City Council Public Relations Manager Mwaka Nakweti has reiterated that the law still stands and those found wanting will have to face it.
I'm sure it is common knowledge that cemeteries are not authorized premises for alcohol trade, and so trading of alcohol in unlicensed premises is illegal as per the Liquor Licensing Act of 2021, and the local authority will institute prosecution processes on anyone found wanting. So all those still practicing this vice are hereby warned to desist from doing so to avoid legal action.
Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
A youth organization has lamented that it has been finding it difficult to sustain its activities in the wake of slow economic growth coupled with the COVID-19 pandemic. In an interview with Camnet TV News, Youth Life Project President Michael Nkosi says the organization's goal is providing entrepreneurial skills. Mr. Nkosi explains that due to inadequate empowerment opportunities, entrepreneurship must be prioritized in order to deter youths from vices.
In an effort to create a society that is balanced enough to support sustainable development, youth empowerment must be given a priority. In Zambia, 60% of people live below the poverty line and 42% are classified as extremely poor. Poverty rates are highest for female-headed households, with extreme poverty levels of more than 60% in rural areas and 15% in urban areas. But the high levels of poverty induce young people in vices such as alcohol and drug abuse and crime. Youth Life Project President Michael Nkosi notes the need to support youth-led organizations that campaign youth empowerment.
Challenges that we faced is in terms of sponsorship. Apparently, we so much depend on the little that we are able to salvage from our day-to-day running and from our friends in Norway. That's why we just get to sit down as a group and we donate the little things or little money that will be available, and we keep it over time, and that's how come we managed to even run the skills empowerment program.
Mr. Nkosi appealed to young people to sign up with Youth Life Project so that they can acquire business skills.
Just get to have some little space or some little time. We are encouraging them to visit the Youth Life Project Center. We are in Camnet Road, plot 23/11 at Kalingalinga Community Center. This is a space that is so free for the youth to come and spend their time here, to come and study, to come and do one or two things. I'm sure even as you are coming in, you saw one of the youths working there. Yes, so it's very open for every youth. There are teachers, mentors, the people that can talk to them at any given moment, any given time.
A better Zambia does begin with the youth. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Women for Change has bemoaned delays in putting up of gender GBV shelters as stipulated in the Anti-Gender-Based Violence Act of 2009, aimed at countering this vice by offering solace to the victims. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, organization's executive director, Ms. Lamba Sianga, has called on the Ministry of Gender to expedite the building of these shelters, stating that victims of GBV, who are mostly women, end up going back to their abusers as they have nowhere else to stay. She adds that delays in building these shelters is countering the fight against this vice.
For example, the issue of gender-based violence. In the Anti-Gender-Based Violence Act of 2009, is it 11? We have an article that talks about funding to survivors of gender-based violence. And also we have issues of coming up with shelters to protect survivors. But because there's been no push from within cabinet and also parliament to have all these policies to be implemented fully, because there are very few female voices. So that's why it's important to have more women
and also men that can support implementation of women's issues. Since I was talking about gender-based violence, we've seen an increase of gender-based violence cases that is reporting, which can be a positive, meaning that more people are getting awareness that gender-based violence is no longer a domain in terms of it being a domestic affair, but it is a legal and civil affair, in the sense that it has to be brought out to the public, it has to be reported.
Zambia has in the last 24 hours recorded 708 new confirmed COVID-19 cases were reported out of 6,700 tests, giving an 11% positivity and 17 deaths. Addressing the media Thursday, Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary for Technical Services, Dr. Kennedy Malama says this has been achieved because of people complying with the measures put in place by the ministry. Dr. Malama has also stated that pregnant and lactating mothers should not be forced to be vaccinated. He says that people should be vaccinated out of their own free will. That includes both pregnant and lactating mothers.
They come through our international airport, and Lusaka has easy access. So when you look at the evolution of the vaccination program, we've vaccinated more people in Lusaka, and also by share volume of Lusaka in terms of population. So we confirm that most of the pregnant women and breastfeeding, those whom we vaccinated, Lusaka top. But also we've seen some in Luapula and also Copperbelt. But remember, our people have a right to decide when they want to be vaccinated. Equally, pregnant mothers, breastfeeding mothers, and the elderly will not be forced to be vaccinated. But it's the evidence we've given them that the benefits outweigh not being vaccinated.
You're still watching Camnet TV Main News. We take our second set of commercials. We'll be back with sports and international news.
On August 12th, we have a choice to make. Perhaps the most important choice in our country's history. One option is to stick with this government and keep things how they are. But after 10 years, we all know what this will mean. More unemployment, more empty plates, more empty pockets. But yet, alternatively, we can embrace change. Change that will create jobs, reduce prices, and more importantly, put food on our tables. Change that will restore hope and move Zambia forward. Sometimes, politics can feel complicated, but this choice could not be clearer. Change for a better life, or 5 more years like the last 10. On August 12th, the choice is yours. The future of your family, the future of our country is in your hands.
Good day to you, dear esteemed customers. As Zamtel, we're glad to bring something of excitement to you, and it's a promotion we've dubbed Yatu, which simply means it's yours. And in this promotion, we're giving benefits that are tailored to you specifically as a customer, depending on the profile or the segment that you're sitting on as a customer. And in this promotion, we are saying you will get from as low as 13 benefits amounting to over 500%, and it's all for you so that you get more benefits. So to know more about Yatu, stay on.
Yatu is a promotion that offers Zamtel customers amazing benefits that are made just for you. Zamtel customers will get amazing benefits of over 500% bonus back the value that they use when they subscribe to a Yatu offer. Yatu benefits will be usable for Zamtel to Zamtel calls, Zamtel to Zamtel SMSs, and browsing on pay-as-you-go defined rates. For you to access the amazing Yatu offers, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 1 to purchase the offer that best suits you. ZAMTO customers will have the ability to actually purchase the YATU benefit more than once. So this means you can purchase the offer twice, you can purchase the offer 3 times, and the benefits will be accumulative at the end of the day. YATU benefits will be able to be redeemed if you subscribe to the same offer within a 5-day period. So if you have unused benefits from the previous day and the expiry date comes, you can still subscribe to the same offer within 5 days and your benefits will be able to accumulate. How amazing is that? For you to check your YATU benefit balance, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 2 and you'll be able to see your current balance.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we're here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. Now getting into international news. In a shift of policy, Tanzania has begun a COVID-19 inoculation campaign. The new President Samia Suluhu Hassan receives her Johnson & Johnson jab. The late John Magufuli, her predecessor, had dismissed the threat from the virus. He died in March of heart complications amid rumors of falling ill from the disease. The country is in its 3rd wave of the disease and has so far officially recorded only 29 deaths and 858 cases, numbers thought to be vastly underreported. In other news, Britain announced it will begin donating millions of coronavirus vaccination doses around the world, including to various Commonwealth countries, following its pledge to provide 100 million jobs globally by next June. Here is a roundup.
Many Tanzanians watched this moment with mixed feelings. Their president, Samia Suluhu Hassan, getting her COVID-19 Johnson & Johnson injection, a clear departure from the policies implemented by her predecessor, John Magufuli, who died in March from heart problems. He was one of the handful of world leaders who downplayed the threat of the pandemic and shunned World Health Organization calls for masks and social distancing. He also rejected vaccines, insisting the disease could be dealt with by prayer and local remedies. When President Hassan was sworn in, she said things would change.
I am a mother of 4 children, a grandmother, a wife and president and commander-in-chief of Tanzania. I would not take the vaccine and sacrifice my life if it was harmful, when I have all these responsibilities and people who depend on me.
The country is in its 3rd wave of the disease. Officially, it has so far recorded only 29 deaths and 858 cases. This is the beginning of a national vaccination campaign. Health workers, the elderly, and those with underlying conditions are on the priority list. Tanzania has received more than 1 million Johnson & Johnson doses donated by the US through the World Health Organization's COVAX initiative.
We are not late because even other developed nations like Europe, USA are still vaccinating, so I think we are okay.
The vaccine is here, it's voluntary. There are those who will decide to take it and those who will not, like everyone else. It's a personal decision.
Now in Africa, only Eritrea and Burundi are not vaccinating. But fewer than 2% of the African population has been jobbed, and it's highly unlikely the continent will meet a WHO target of vaccinating 10% by September. This is partly because of a shortage of vaccines blamed on Western nations hoarding millions of doses, and anti-vaccine sentiments often fueled by conspiracy theories and mistrust.
I'm not ready yet on my side because I don't know the risk or the side effects of the vaccine. And there have been too many rumors about it, so I think I would rather look at others and see what happens to them, and that's when I'll be ready or I'll be willing to have the vaccine.
Tanzania is well behind many countries in vaccination rates, but the government says it has set aside $470 million to secure more doses and hopes to inoculate 60% of its population as soon as possible.
The streets of Tunisia's capital are mostly calm, but on Wednesday the president again moved to tighten his control of the government. Speaking in a televised interview, President Kais Saied accused politicians of corruption, costing the country billions of dollars.
The money stolen from the Tunisian people must be restored. A decision will be made to take measures against the perpetrators who have taken these public funds. We will deal with these people in a proportionate manner.
That accusation is disputed by Ennahda, the largest party in the government coalition. Tunisia's young democracy faces its worst crisis in a decade after the president ousted the government and froze parliament for 30 days. The president says he has acted constitutionally, but opposition leaders accuse him of staging a coup. One analyst says Said's moves are popular, at least for now. Further afield, foreign leaders have been calling for cabinet changes to be swift. The takeover comes amid crisis. The coronavirus pandemic is ravaging the nation and the economy is in steep decline. The International Monetary Fund recently promised to help Tunisia cope with its growing financial pressure. The president has been calling on traders to cut the cost of goods, but even that, these local shop owners say, won't do.
Since the revolution, life has become very difficult. The people can't make do, although we sell meat with low prices. This market is cheap, and even in this cheap market, people can't manage.
And so residents wait to see whether the streets which witnessed the Jasmine Revolution a decade ago will remain silent.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson welcomed Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta to Chequers, his country resident, ahead of the Global Education Summit on Thursday. The two leaders were holding talks on boosting the UK-Kenya partnership and on trade, defense, development and the global fight against COVID-19. Britain announced Wednesday it will begin donating millions of coronavirus vaccines doses around the world, including to various Commonwealth countries, following its pledge to provide 100 million jabs globally by next June. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said the ramped-up rollout of an initial 9 million inoculations to get underway Friday will go to Kenya, Jamaica and several Asian countries. Johnson and Kenyatta planted a tree at Chequers to symbolize the two countries' bilateral relations and commitment to tackling climate change together ahead of the COP26 climate summit in Glasgow.
We now get into our sports story. Soccer fans have expressed mixed feelings following the dismissal of Mitchell as the national football coach and the appointment of BESTONE CHAMBESHI as the interim coach for the senior men's football national team. Speaking in an interview with Camnet Sports, the soccer fans have given different feelings concerning Mitchell's dismissal and BESTONE's appointment.
Some soccer fans have given mixed emotions on the decision made by the Football Association of Zambia, where they terminated Mitchell's contract as a national football coach and appointed BESTONE CHAMBESHI as the interim technical bench coach for the senior men's football national team. Some say Mitchell deserved another chance because he had just started coaching Zambia, while others say the decision made by FAZ was done on merit.
Maplayer ni wambiri vene tili nao mzambia. So coach wena wafaka boy wa muno mzambia. Yazi na ebe futi safunka ukondera tia waso wafunka kazilaunda kucheckinga maligi shani uona tia bola Zambia ilipo. Pisha coach uja. Ko sampase time. Sampase time mufika time kulu. But foot is like a problem sense of moving. Tama foot problem liko. My games is down. COVID-19 is not a problem. My league is down. My games in Chaika, some more.
In the meantime, soccer fans have congratulated the Copper Queens for putting up a good performance in the ongoing Olympic tournament, despite being disqualified.
Wanashitamshe maningi wakazi bola wanachapa bwino. Ko tiwashita congratulate kwa chaicho. Ni wakali okay.
Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Well, that sports item brings us to the end of Camnet TV main news, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. Police in Eastern Province block United Party for National Development from campaigning. Stakeholders bemoan Electoral Commission Zambia's election observers accreditation process. Movement for Multi-Party Democracy threatens to protest if the Electoral Commission of Zambia fails to level the political playing field. In international news, Tanzania president gets COVID jab, kicks off vaccination drive. And in sports fans are skeptical about Zambia's new head coach, BESTONE CHAMBESHI. Before we go, here's a Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from the book of Mark 11, verse 24 to 25, and it reads, "Therefore I tell you, all the things you pray and ask for, believe that you have received them and you will have them. And whenever you stand praying, if you have anything against anyone, forgive them, so that your Father in heaven will also forgive you for your wrongdoings." I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Thank you for watching. Pleasant viewing.